After years of working with pain and inflammation, I created these blends to support the nervous system naturally. Acute Inflammation Blend. This is my newest blend. Like I said earlier in the program, I don't have it in with the rest of the program, but part of that's because of the unique oils that are in it. And I'll tell you how I created this blend. So Pain Counters and Solutions Bodywork deals specifically with scar tissue and how scar tissue creates a lot of problems inside the body when it comes to pain management. And I wanted to help people who were in acute inflammatory processes. Whether that was they were in an inflammatory process and their body went into an acute process, if they were receiving body work or they were trying to change inflammation and they overdid it and it shot their body from a chronic to acute phase, I wanted something to calm that down. I also wanted something that people could use like post-surgical or post-injury, fresh whiplash, those sorts of things. Because while the inflammation and autoimmune helped, I needed something a little stronger. So when I went to put this blend together, I went through a list of oils, a book from a company that I buy these oils from. And the company I buy them from is called Butterfly Express, and they are a local company in Idaho where I live. I love that I can support local and that they support me as well local. And I went through their book, and it's a very thick book of all the different oils that they carry and all of these amazing profiles, all the different things that they can do. And I went through and I specifically looked for acute inflammation type of oils that helped the body heal. And we were talking about torn tissue, someone's blown out their ankle and their ligaments are torn, someone's had surgery, someone needs to heal. We need to stitch up the body both energetically and physically. It was all of those things. And so as I did this, I probably ordered 15 different oils. But when it was all said and done, these were the only ones that blended together. And then it took me several tries to find one that the smell with the quantities of the different types of drops worked for me and for anybody else that I applied it to. And so, of course, we start with lavender to set our stage. Taguette. This particular blend smells like a smoky campfire. It has very sharp, pungent type earthy smell to it. It's not pleasant, but it is effective. So our first oil is lavender, which it sets the stage to balance all three corners of that triad. Taguette, which helps support the rebuilding of tissue and the nervous system. Galbanum supports the body's natural inflammatory response and supports tissue recovery. It helps support cellular strength and structure. Cabriva, traditionally associated with supporting the body during periods of heightened inflammation. Steroid treatments are used when too much inflammation is present and the area needs to dry up from inflammation. And Cabriva is one of the only known plants in nature that has a steroid-like component to it. Cedarwood, of course, I love my cedarwood, blended with these other oils. The synergy leans towards helping support the release of emotional patterns trapped in scar tissue that may contribute to a prolonged inflammatory cycle if one has already been started. And then blue yarrow, if you understand the yarrow family, there's several different types of yarrow. But blue yarrow literally has the ability to pull the edges of a wound together and come together. It actually contracts the skin and the tissue and brings it together. I love this oil, especially when you're talking about surgical repair or somebody who's got a wound or they're damaged or they've blown out their ankle or they have whiplash or any of those sorts of things. This is a really great oil to help the body heal on a very natural physical level. So it's used to support tissue contraction and organization on both the physical and energetic realm. You can often feel a tightening of the skin and tissue when it's applied. It does. It actually has a tightening, very small tightening sensation to it when you use it. This oil is added specifically to support the body's natural repair process during the initial 12-week recovery window. So when someone has an injury, your body has a biologically programmed 12-week healing process that it stays in the acute phase. So while your doctor may say that you are healed 6 weeks out of surgery, you are actually going to heal for another 6 weeks past that, and you can't change that. It is biologically set in the body. In that 12th week, the body will take a hormone, and it's like a corticosteroid, and it will put it in the area where all that granulated scar tissue is that's healing, and within 24 hours, it solidifies all of that scar tissue into a solid mass. And when that happens, the body shifts from acute into chronic, and then we head into being able to do some different things with the body. Where I work with pain management, this becomes extremely important to understand that process because I can't change scar tissue if it's not completed. And so I use this oil on areas that are healing, and then I do a lot of supportive work around where someone's been injured to take the pressure off those tissues as they are healing. And once that person hits that 12-week mark, it's like having a baby. It could be 11 weeks, it could be 13 weeks. The body has its own time frame. But once that area becomes solidified, the person I'm working on will become locked into a position, but I can actually touch the tissues that were injured and they'll respond to me. Up until that point, if you actually try and work on them too much, they just swell up because they're not formed. They are forming. They are doing their job. So this particular oil fit a need inside my table practice, but it also is a huge oil when you want to use it for new trauma to the body. It actually works amazingly well. So some other information and contraindications. Used during the first 12 weeks post-injury for best results, but may be used on older scars that carry signs of active imbalance. Apply directly over the injury site once the skin is fully closed or around the scar itself. So don't use it on top of a scar. You can use it 1 to 2 inches away from the scar. It'll still help. But once that scar is healed over, and it's usually pretty solid after 2 to 3 weeks, you can apply it directly to an area. But if you have an open wound, this does not go on an open wound. If inflammation is located deeper within the body, use reflexive areas such as the feet or along with the corresponding meridian. Do not apply to open wounds. There it is again. Feet, for energetic, sensitive individuals, less is more. A small amount may be very sufficient. And when you have somebody who is fresh out of a fairly taxing surgery, 1 or 2 drops is great. You can throw some adrenal fatigue in with it, but you don't want to overdo it. And it is a powerfully smelling oil. It's very powerful. So you want to be careful with how much you use, and especially up around, this is an oil that you want nowhere near your eyes or nose or mouth or anything. This is definitely not anything that you want anywhere there. So this oil is especially effective for supporting post-surgical wounds of fresh injuries for the skin around the injury, not on the open site, scars that carry significant emotional charge or trauma, balanced tissue repair, and supporting long-term tissue function. There is one more thing I want to talk to you about this oil. It's not on this page. It is blue. It is a dark blue. Blue yarrow is very blue, and so it can stain your clothes. So make sure that when you use this, if you're putting it on and wearing clothes afterwards, you don't care about those clothes because it won't come out. It's a very staining color, and so make sure that you use it appropriately.